A very, very warm welcome from the south of India, Chennai. And it would be lovely to know where all of you all are logging in from. So if you could just put in the chat box which part of India or even possibly the world you're logging in from, that would be fantastic. Yeah, I can see Delhi, Mumbai, Bengaluru, Gurgaon. It's all scrolling past Thane, Bangalore, Chennai, Ghaziabad. Yes, Catherine from Paris, of course. Wonderful. All right. So as everybody just kind of settles in, just be easy in your chairs, get a cup of tea possibly, and also put in where you're from. It feels fantastic to present this, jointly hosted ICF India webinar for the first time this year. So it's very exciting. So everybody just go on your reaction button and give us a big thumbs up, because this is a great thing. And here's to a lot more. I'm Viji, president of ICF Chennai Charter Chapter. And joining me today are Priya Sharma, president of Mumbai Charter Chapter, Jayashree, president of Pune Chapter, Badri, president of Delhi Charter Chapter. And I don't see Shanti and MG here, who are the presidents of the Hyderabad chapter and Bengaluru Charter Chapter, but they should be here any moment. So a big and warm welcome from all of us here today. And today is quite an exciting day because we are all here together to, it's like that thing, right? The little secret gets revealed. So the big secret of Global Coaching Study 2020, which was one of the largest studies conducted, I think, worldwide, possibly over 22,000 responses, if I'm right. And in India itself, we got in 330 responses. Yay. So that also makes us part of the 100 Champions Club, which means we get to see survey findings very specific to our country. And it's quite a privilege. So thank you, everyone, all those of you who jumped in and took the survey. Thank you so much. On that note, we have our wonderful speaker for the evening here with us today. And it's my pleasure to be doing the introduction. And she has a fabulous bio, which I can't remember from my mind. So I have this piece of paper I'm going to read off from. So presenting to you the wonderful Catherine Tanneau. Have I pronounced your name right, Catherine, the surname?
Yes, perfectly right. Hello, everybody.
And Catherine is the chair of the ICF Professional Coaches Board. Catherine is an ICF Master Certified Coach, specialized in executive coaching and organizational transformation. She is the co-founder of the digital platform We Lead Grow, CEO of Variations International, Dean of Activision Coaching Training Program. She's also the past president of ICF France and a board director at Fondation N France and permanent member of the Digital Committee, strategic and board director at a family holding company. Overall, Catherine has 25 years of cumulated international professional experience with operational, leadership, and coaching responsibilities in various countries. She's been living abroad for 14 years, including Milan and Lisbon, and she has much experience with international and multicultural teams as project director in international consulting firms such as McKinsey and OCNC Strategy Consultants. She also has a good financial knowledge as she was the M&A manager in an investment bank, BNP Paribas, and multimedia vice president in Hachette Lagardère Group, I hope I pronounced it right, with P&L responsibility of the multimedia BU. For more than 16 years, Catherine has been committed to helping leaders, teams, and organizations in managing complex and multicultural environments. She specialized in change management process, digital strategy implementation, team mobilization, leadership, and governance. Wow. And now coming to her ICF credentials and achievement, Catherine has been active for more than 15 years in ICF, promoting coaching excellence, professionalism, and ethics. She promoted the recognition of the coaching profession by um, the French Ministry of Labor. She also participated in many European meetings and, in fact, in the first ICF Global Leadership Summit in Atlanta in 2015, where she gave a speech on ICF France's governance. In December 2018, Catherine was elected to the ICF Global Board of Directors. Finally, Catherine is also an author, and some of her books she has co-authored include Coaching for Leaders, Art and Practice of Coaching, and Situational Intelligence, 50 Leadership Situations, and 70 Concepts and Tools. That is indeed a commendable bio, and I think no better person to run this presentation for us, Catherine, and thank you so much once again. Before I hand over to you, just a few housekeeping rules. It would be great if all of you could put yourselves on mute. And as and when questions come in, you could put it into the chat box. Priya here is supporting us with that. And, Catherine, whenever you'd like to take questions, Priya would manage that. So if all's good and there are no further questions from everyone, let's hit the thumbs up button on the reactions saying that we are ready to go. We are ready to listen to our India data. And over to you, Catherine.
Thank you so much, Vijay. Thank you all and good evening to all of you. It is very good for me to be with you today and it is an honor. And I want to thank you, heartfelt thank you to our Indian chapter president, Vijay, Chennai president, Priya, Mumbai president, Jayashree, Pune president, MG, Bengaluru president, Badri, Delhi president, and Shanti, Hyderabad president. Next, I would like also to thank you and to congratulate all of you, and especially ICF Chennai for being a charter chapter since January 28th. Really big congrats. And also to the newly comer in the ICF chapter family, Hyderabad, newest chapter in India from January 10th. And with that, I must say that I'm very impressed by all what you do, guys, in India. It's amazing. The number of coaches, of professional coaches you have reached and the organization you have. This is really excellent. You have organized this webinar all together. And I can say it is a model for many chapters, many regions. So I will spread the voice. So I'm very proud of you and very honored to be with you today. So let's now move to our topic of the evening. It is a presentation of the last ICF Global Coaching Study, which is one of the most relevant study that has been conducted in the coaching industry. As Vijay said, this is one of the biggest, it is the biggest actually, 22,000 people have been invited to answer. Next slide, maybe Vijay. So we can see the scope and then we can see the figures. It will be easier. So the scope is it's really identifying the state of the art of our coaching industry. And also the chance we have, and we will see next study on post-COVID. This is the last snapshot of the coaching industry before pandemic. Then we will see what's happening because ICF Global is launching a new study with post-pandemic questions to understand what is changing in our coaching world. So about the figures, as you see on the screen, we have more than 160 countries and territories. We have 52 countries, out of which India in the club plus 100 answers. Actually, India is, according to the question, is between 330 and 402 valid responses, which is exceptional. So not only you are growing, not only you are dedicated and engaged, but you are also good answering in the inquiry, which is very important for us to know the market. Because as you may know, these studies are very unique in the coaching industry. which is still quite a young industry, and which has been characterized by a lack of data. So it was very difficult for us coaches to provide meaningful data for our client, for the industry, even for regulators in different countries. So the one of the major role of ICF is really providing all the data you need on your markets with your clients to help coaches to be seen as professional, to help clients to see the benefits of coaching, and to grow the business and to grow the demand. So I do really think it is meaningful to go ahead with the result. Big finding, it is that the acceptance of coaching is increasing everywhere, including India. So let's move with the next slide. So as you see, the first finding of this research is that is the coaching continuum. What they have found that already in 2016 in the last previous study, but it is even more now. As we can see, we have a wide range of modalities in coaching, coming from manager or HR or leaders using coaching skills in their daily life, to truly professional and well-trained coaches that are really having coaching as a profession, either internally or externally. And we can see the different figures. So overall, ICF estimated that the global number of coaches, professional ones, is around 71,000, while the leaders and managers and HRs using coaching skills is about 15,600, which make the coaching total coaching industry in terms of number of coaches around 90,000, 600,000, which is compared to 2016, it's around plus 36%. In 2016, we were around 50,000 coaches. So let's move to the next finding, which is about this growth. And what happened in India. Actually, the growing acceptance and demand of coaching is everywhere, and also in India. And we will see then the figures and the tables. But let's have a look of what are the area of growth, especially in India. For example, two major areas are leadership development, where India is above the global average numbers, which 32%, while the global is 30. And just as a comparison, in 2016, the leadership development was only 25% of the global coaching market, which means that not only coaching is growing, but a certain kind of coaching is growing, the coaching for leadership, which is completely connected with the second growing area, which is management coaching, coaching for managers, coaching for enhancing management skills and management capacities. Here again, India is really highly higher than global, with 26% of the coaching market, while global is only 16%. Last but not least, the global team and organizational coaching is increasing less because it is a more recent trend. We can see that is around 13% in India and 16% globally. Last but not least, life coaching is still quite important in India with 16%, while global is 13%. I come back on this data when I will comment the next slides, but what is to pick up on this is that the leadership, you can move the slide because the same kind of data. So as you see here, you have the bars and you see the figure in the graphic representation. So what does it mean? It means also that there is a market for coaching. We'll come back at the end when we talk about the revenue, but it means that leadership and executive assignment are growing everywhere. They are still really important in India, and they will be more and more important in the next year, in the next future. Now, obviously, we all expect the result from the post-pandemic to see whether this change or not. What we have read personally now is that the companies are taking the advantage of this very specific and unprecedented time to grow their people, because we discovered that during the pandemic, what makes a difference is having people engaged, motivated, highly autonomous, and so you need to create this kind of polyvalent skills, and that's the reason why coaching is called to grow again and in the future. At least it is what I believe personally, and I'm waiting for the data. My third finding is an interesting one, and I'm sure you may have some explanation for that, because you know much better than I'm doing your market. What we are seeing is that the India is different in terms of the profile of coaches. We have more younger coaches, which is a general trend. The bigger number are in among Gen X. But younger generation are growing, especially under 40. So coaches between 35 and 40 are really growing everywhere. More male coaches in India, more educated coaches, and coaches more involved, as we have seen in leadership and business assignment. So let me be a bit provocative, but at the beginning, coaching, especially in Europe and in the US, was a kind of profession for only life coaching, older ladies or men who were like having a second career. It's not anymore the case. It is a first career, it is the first profession, and it is the first choice. And the proof of that is that more and more young people are choosing to train coaching skills, either to be internal coach or external coach, or even to be better leaders. So we are really seeing that the trend that we see in India, it is hopefully a general trend. So now if we see the next slide, we can see the proper figures of that. And I will not comment all the data, but maybe if we pick up some data of this, it is interesting that the education in India is that much higher than elsewhere for coaches, with very, very big numbers. So maybe you'll tell me after the presentation why this difference very visible on these figures. So maybe so now we have seen the overall picture of the market, the growth, the trends in terms of leadership and executive coaching, the difference in profiles in India, third level and between 5 and 10 years experience. Now let's move to the fourth findings, which is the profession, the coaching profession is more and more recognized in India as everywhere. It is seen as a true profession, 50% in India, 62% globally. Again, I think in 2016, it was like 30%, the recognition of coaching as a true profession. And if you put all that together, you see that it makes sense. It is, you have more business assignment, so you may have more revenue from coaching. You may also have more recognition in terms of social status and the fact that this profession is truly recognized as a profession. The last thing we have seen also is about regulation. This has always been a question mark for us for long. And now it's really clear that professional coaching needs to have a self-regulation by professional bodies. And that's part of the major assignment for ICF. One of our mission is really pushing for making coaching a self-recognized and self-regulated profession, which make us powerful, more powerful on the markets, and avoid us to be regulated by political, health professions, psycho profession, whatever could it be. It has been something tentative in different countries, but clearly no one wants that. So we think that more the professional body, such as ICF, such as other international bodies, are involved in making coaching recognized as a profession, in making coaching recognized as an ethical and articulated around core competencies that are reliable, that coaching is bringing impact on the market. I do think we will win the industry battle and not being regulated by any kind of rules. Again, we can discuss what is happening in your country. Another very important thing is the importance of credentials, and also relevant finding is that as everywhere, but even more in your country, the fact that credential is important is absolutely recognized. More than 50% of the responses said that coaching should have credentialing and coaches should be credentialed. If we look at the data around, sorry, let me just, the slide here, it is about the revenue and the membership. So the revenue will be next, and this one is about the membership and the fact that the credentialing and belonging to a professional body is really very important. It is quite a strange thing because everyone agrees that it's strongly important that coaches are belonging to a professional body, that they are credentialed, but however, that's not still completely visible in the data, because if we see Asia and global, only 61% are members of ICF, but 30%, 27% in Asia, and 22% of coaches are not members of any professional body, which is quite a lot. Same for credential. Everyone thinks that credentialing is important, but only 77%, for example, in Asia are credentialed, same as global, are credentialed from ICF. And again, almost 30%, so 1/3 of the coaches are not credentialed at all. So my findings around this is that all of us, and you as chapters on the field, we really need to help people to understand the importance of getting a credential as soon as they start, when they have gathered their first 100 hours of experience. We should encourage them to apply for ACC. And then when they get more and more experience, they should apply for PCC if they are with ICF. But I would say, no matter what body is, I think having a credential from a professional body is completely a warrant of quality, credibility, professionalism, and ethic. So it will be more and more important. I can say that the new ICF system of badging will really help. I'm sure you know about it, that ICF has issued recently new badges for credentialing, which allows your client, your stakeholder, whoever, to verify, to check if you are truly a professional credential coach. And soon we will have a badge for membership. So it means that if you are a professional coach, you should be easily recognized with respect to unprofessional, or not maybe professional, but not as professional as you. So that's, I think that will be a great help for us. And so I do encourage you to go ahead with that. Last thing about professionalism and coaching, what I see that is really interesting, and it is growing with the pandemic, post-pandemic is really growing, is that in India, remote coaching is more frequently used than elsewhere, with telephone and also platforms. Maybe because your country has a big digitalization tradition, you are known to have the higher number of engineers and data scientists in Bangalore and elsewhere, with incredible numbers of good engineer and digital specialists in your universities. So maybe the reason why the acceptance for remote coaching is higher than elsewhere. Even the in-person is still important. So it is not a matter of saying one is better than the other, but I do think that maybe India was more prepared to face the pandemic, where everything had to be remote. And frankly, I've seen in Europe that some of our colleagues were struggling to move from classical face-to-face coaching meetings to platform or telephone meetings. So again, let's discuss with you after this presentation if you feel that are correct data. But no doubt you were in advance. So next finding. So after the professionalism and coaching as a true profession, I think that was interesting to pick up some data about coaching as a sustainable business. That is one of my constant worry about making sure that the coaches around the world are in a sustainable business. That's also a criteria in many Ministry of Labor, for example, in France, that the recognition of a profession is based on three criteria. One is ethics. Second is having a solid core competency model and training path. And the last is it a sustainable profession? If you are not a sustainable profession, you will not last, you will not be recognized, and your people will not make a living with coaching. So this is the first time ICF in the study is exploring this topic. So I'm not sure personally about the data, because this declaration, once we are talking about numbers and revenue, it's quite a touchy issue. So that's a first base to discuss, and I'll show you the data in a while. But the global finding that for those who have between 6 and 10 years of experience, it sounds to be a sustainable business. And it is often combined with leadership development, change management, sometimes with consulting, often with training, and sometimes also what we call facilitation, like team facilitation, agile coaching, lean implementation, or this kind of facilitation of change process or organizational process. So let's move to the figures. So the figures are for Asia. So we have not divided the figures between different Asian countries because of a lack of reliable data. So that's aggregation. So might not completely true for your country, but let's see that basically on average, 1 hour of coaching, it's almost the same everywhere. A bit higher in Asia, probably lower in some countries, probably still lower in many countries in the world. I'm thinking of emerging countries like Africa, where coaching is just emerging. Maybe it might be higher for MCCs or PCC, might reach up to $500 or even more. But let's say that on average, it sounds a reasonable amount of money for 1 hour of coaching. Yeah.
Catherine, I have a question here
Oh,
from
yes.
some of the parts.
Sorry, I didn't look at the chat. Sorry.
No problem. The questions regarding the earlier slide, if you can just switch
Yeah.
back
Okay.
there. Viji, if you can just go back to the earlier slide.
One moment, please. I think I will have to exit full screen and go
Yeah.
back because this is on a PDF. Just, I can't do a page up. Just give me one moment. Yeah. Let me just bring this back. If you can just give me
Sure.
1 minute.
So the
Yeah,
question
sure.
is that the 6 to 10 years of experience is professional or only coaching in the earlier slide that you talked about?
It's only coaching. Sorry. Yes, sure. It's 6 to 10 years coaching, which means that what we know that is sustainable for those. Yes, that's it. And the next one, you have the data on it. So 6 to 10 years plus years of experience is for coaching. So it means that we are quite confident to say it is sustainable if you are well installed in your profession and if you combine this with leadership development. We don't have enough data for younger coaches that are just starting a business for obvious reason. First of all, I do think I've not the sample in my head, but I do think that we have less respondent among younger coaches. I know that they are intended to have a specific study about younger coaches that are just trying to set a business. But as in every business, it makes sense that in every business, you get better and better, you have more reputation, your clients are really addressing new clients. So you start to build a portfolio of clients that make you sustainable and make your business successful. So that is reasonable to think that 6 to 10 years experience. And we'll see on the next slide, we will see the average number of years of experience. So on this, we see the average revenue per hour. We see on the second line, the average weekly coaching hours between 9 and 12, pure coaching. Mean that maybe in your week you are 9 pure coaching hours and you are maybe have 10 hours where you are doing a kind of training with a kind of coaching posture. You may be doing a leadership 360 debriefing, which is part of coaching, which is part of leadership. You may be doing consulting, which is part of facilitation, which might include a coaching posture. So it is not that easy to identify what is pure coaching. So these 9 and 12 hours are pure coaching, at least as the respondent declared. Then the question was average number. No, please stay on the slide because it is. Sorry. The average number, thank you. The average number of clients between 10 and 12, which means at the end, combining all this data, that's, then I'm seeing the chat and we will comment. That's for me, the income, annual income from coaching is quite huge. It's $33,600 per year. And frankly, working 9 hours a week, I would be happy to be a coach. I don't know what is your experience, but frankly, I'm working much more than that. So that's the reason why I was saying, obviously, it is pure coaching and you combine your revenue with other things. So for me, it's still a basis to talk about. It's good first data in terms of study because it's the first time we had the kind of data. It's still quite difficult to see if it's really globally meaningful or not, and especially if it's meaningful in your country. And I'd like maybe to take some comments I see in the chat. Maybe
There is a comment here from YVL. He says that it seems really huge. He says, YVL, the line at the bottom shows it is from training, counseling, consulting, facilitation, etc., not just coaching.
Yes, that's I've had these lines because that's my personal additional things. I do think people declare everything together, because it's very difficult to say in an assignment. For example, if you are doing leadership development, I'm doing leadership development. It's very difficult for me to say, okay, between 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock, I was in coaching, and between 10 and 5 in the afternoon, I was doing leadership training, and then I go back to coaching. So obviously, this amount of money, it is coaching and, let's say, coaching plus, coaching, augmented coaching, coaching with something together, which is okay. And which we have seen is very relevant in your country to have this leadership development, coaching for leadership development, coaching for management skills, upskilling, management upskilling, HR upskilling. So coaching for talent development, for coaching for innovation. So we are seeing coaching used more and more in various situations that make it meaningful to say that overall, being a coach, plus a facilitator, plus have a decent income from my business. That for me, that's the message. So I agree with you. It sounds very high. I see
There are some
another.
comments that have come in from Sushima, Prakash, and Chandrasekhar. They say the numbers don't really tally and it seems very high.
Yeah,
9
agree.
hours per week with approximately 10 clients almost amounts to 1 hour per client per week. Seems high.
Seems high. I agree. I do present first is an average of Asia. And is an average of global. So I choose to present this data as they are, because I think we need to discuss about it. So I do agree, it's high. So what would be the average? Maybe if someone, yes, so this is an average, yes, sure. Thank you for this.
There's some calculation that Chandrasekhar has done. He says that
Yeah.
17,400 rupees per hour on a sustained basis in India.
Yeah.
That's 242 at the rate of rupees 72 per dollar.
So how much in dollars does it?
242.
Okay. Does it sound reasonable, or it is an average Asia? It's not India.
Chandrasekhar, would you like to unmute yourself and come in on this?
Hi, I just
Hello.
tried to tap the Chandrasekhar here. Call me PM. The 242 multiplied by 70 by itself looks a little large value for India, as far as I know.
Yeah.
The acceptance of that price. That is one. And number two is that if I have to work back from 33,600 on an annual income spread over 48 weeks, then the hourly rate and all that comes to around $77 or $75 per hour. So just wanted to know how this table stacks up. I'm sure there is a logic behind this, which I would like to understand.
No,
Thank
yeah, thank you for your remark. That the table of the data we collect, the study collected, that's not exactly the multiplication of what you see. It's a bit more complex. I put it as is just to show the data, but it is not the multiplication of those data. They have many other calculations which I'm not in my hand. So I think the conclusion of this, that is, we have an average vision of the sustainability of the market, which is always good. I do understand there are a lot of variations between one country to another still. So Asia average, maybe not really meaningful. 10 clients doesn't sound much. Maybe many of you have more. 9 hour pure coaching a week on average might be a little, but if it's only pure coaching and you have something that is coaching combined, maybe it's okay. I'm trying to understand the revenue would then be 29,000 USD per year. Yeah, maybe I think it is interesting for India that you get your own data, because we have no data for India on this. At least I didn't find any in the study. Average hourly, yeah, your comment makes it sounds reasonable, So the findings here, it sounds to be potentially a sustainable profession, especially if you start of having 5 to 6 years, which is the average amount of years to get a PCC, for example. So we said that in the beginning, it might not be that, but if you go with more professionalism and credibility, you might really make a living with coaching, which I think it's quite a good news for me. And I agree with you, it's reasonable, it's an average, it's not precise enough, but that's important. So let's maybe move to the last, but not least, and then we will give the floor for more questions. So opportunities and obstacles. So what's next? The findings here are some obstacles remains for our profession. Still some untrained individuals, calling them coaches, and some market confusion about coaching, something about coaching benefits. Is it true that coaching have benefits, have impact? Still somewhere, and in India a bit more than globally, there's some doubt. So pedagogy is still needed. But I do think that opportunities are more. Increase awareness and acceptance of coaching benefits, credible data on coaching ROI, return on investment, young generation expecting coaching to support their career and personal growth. So let's see the last slides, and then I will be happy to answer your questions. So what we see here is, again, India is a bit more than global on marketplace confusion, a bit less about untrained individuals. On the opportunities, I do think the credible data on ROI and the increased awareness of benefits of coaching, which can be related to the fact that you are more in the leadership and management business. So maybe you have more educated people also about coaching. Maybe you have HR more aware of coaching benefits. So it brings you an advantage on this. But still, we all need everywhere to improve the general perception of our profession. We need to work to make it clear that it brings benefits, not only in terms of well-being, but also in terms of economic performance, teamwork, engagement, people proximity. And what we are seeing as a trend, to conclude, can you put the last 2 slides? So some vision, and that's my vision. So that's not official ICF vision. That's my vision. We didn't have yet figures on all of this. I do think that coaching is more and more a factor of attractivity for companies, as younger generation are expecting to be coached at least once in their career. They are seeing coaching as a career opportunity. They want to have leaders that help them to grow. And if a company, and the big company like Google, IBM, Coca-Cola, they're offering coaching, the first moment someone enter as a young talent, they have been offered coaching. So I do think that it is, and it will be more and more a factor of attractivity for younger generation. The second, that we have data on this, and the data from the previous ICF study with Human Capital Institute, the 2019 ones, about the development of a coaching culture that is bringing a safer working environment together with a better economic performance. That is another study with very interesting data on it, and that is seen as a trend since the 2015, I think, the first study of a Human Capital Institute with companies, and the last one is reinforcing this trend. Third trend is coaching contributing with a positive social impact. Just to let you know, and you might know the data about the foundation, ICF Foundation, they with their Ignite program, they have been touching, I do think, more than 10 million lives through pro bono coaching engagement everywhere in the planet. So I do really think, I know in India, you are very much involved also with pro bono assignment, with pro bono partnership. So I do think it is a positive things about coaching, because it will bring not revenue, but it will bring impact, it will bring image, it will bring meaning, and that overall that will bring image. Then what about technology? Is it a friend? Well, I'm a positive and completely optimistic person, so I'm always seeing what is good in anything. So I do think technology can be a friend, and you guys seems to be a very good example of having started remote coaching, platform coachings, maybe more than elsewhere, because for coaches it can be a tool. So it would be bad if technology replaces humans, but if it is a tool, let's use it as a tool, and let's have a look. Let's be aware what is happening in artificial intelligence. I don't know yet, but I'm sure that I'm confident that we as coaches will be creative enough to take the advantage of technology. So with that, I think I'm at the end, wrapping up maybe rapidly, because that was my last slide. Coaching continuum, wide range of coaching modalities, growing acceptance and demand, different coaching profiles in India, a profession more and more recognized in India as everywhere, a sustainable business, discutable but sustainable, and more opportunity than obstacle for the future. So I want to thank you for your attention, and welcome for the question. I didn't manage to read everything in the chat, but I see you are very active, and thank you for that.
Hey, Catherine. So there was a question. Thank you for that. There was a question that I didn't take up earlier. So can I just bring that up now?
Yeah, sure, please.
Okay, so there was a question from Ravi Srinivasan. He said, is the professional standard plus quality of coaching credentials still maintained, or has it diluted in the last 10 years, according to you?
I think they have not only maintained, they have increased the professional standard with the new competency model and the new code of ethics have really been adapted to a more demanding world, to a more professional stance in coaching, to a more professional and ethical way of doing coaching. So not only I do think they have the last update with the moving from 11 to 8 competencies. I do believe I'm a completely fan of 8 competencies. So that might be for a next webinar. But I do think that's really meaningful, especially with competence 2, which is now what they call the coaching spirit, which is much more than just a competence. It's also a way of embracing our coaching industry, of behaving globally, having impact, not only with our client, but having impact in the society, having impact with the full people, our environment. So I do think that will allow us to flourish even more.
There's a question from Prakash Nathan that says, how does ICF differentiate between leadership and management coaching?
Can you repeat leadership and management coaching?
Leadership and managerial coaching.
Yeah. Let's see that managerial coaching is you are coaching a manager or a project manager, a team manager, whatever kind of manager. So you are coaching someone that is in a management position. Leadership coaching is more assignment to develop leadership more largely than just coaching one person. So could englobe, for example, I was giving the example of 360 degrees leadership in companies, and then you have the debriefing, and then you might have a 2 or 3 coaching session. It's not pure coaching like having 10 coaching sessions for a manager. It's not answering only of one problem. It's more global leadership development, coaching for leadership development, which is quite interesting trend, because this opens a larger market than just coaching individuals. It also opened the market of collective coaching. And the last thing about the professional standard is that ICF, and you might have seen that, I just issued a new team competency model, which will help coaches to get more into the team market, helping not only leaders and managers, but helping them with their teams, helping HR in developing teams, helping organization in developing teams as a body. So
Right. Right. So I think that's all the questions that I could see. Is there something that I've missed? They need to come up
There's
and say.
one suggestion, Priya,
Uh,
that's come up.
yeah. So I want to comment on that actually. That's Pradeep has said that we have 1,093
yeah,
coaches and we should conduct a survey. So, guys, I just want to say to you that the ICF Mumbai has put together a survey and we have shared that with all the chapters. I highly recommend, let's push to get responses so that we get actually India data
thank you.
that's realistic and relevant to us and for our
Yeah,
information
yeah,
as well.
yeah.
So please do take the survey. I think your chapter presidents have already shared that link with everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else that I have missed that anybody can recommend that I should ask? Does ICF plan to have separate accreditation for team coaching? Says Lata Gupta.
Work in progress. Work in progress. Yes, of course. They start with the competencies, and it has been a huge work because they had involved more than 1,500 people in this survey to frame the team coaching competencies. And I do like the way the frame has been done, having a wide range of team intervention. Between what we can call team building, team facilitation, team consulting, expert with a team, and team coaching. And all these are relevant. Not all are needing a team coach, but what we know that the team coaching competencies are based on solid coaching skills. And on top of coaching skills, you can build new skills. So they are studying new credentialing. I'm not sure. I don't have the date, so I will be very honest with you. I don't know when exactly, but we are pushing, and I'm personally pushing on that because I do believe that is very, very relevant for coaches. So I'm your voice on this. I know this is work in progress, and it will be hopefully maybe in 2021 we will have this credentialing.
Lovely. There is a question from Sudhir Vardes. He says that was there a dip in coaching incomes in the COVID year?
Yes, we don't know how much, but it is quite strange because it depends on the countries. In some places, actually, some coaches had more work because they had remote work and they had people really facing big stress, facing unprecedented uncertainty, and leaders with difficult decision to take. So some coaches had more work and others had less. So we don't really know on a global basis what will be observed. What is sure that we observed that we had new members. We had around 2,000 new members in 2020 as ICF. And we feel that with the pandemic, people feel they need to be together. They need to join a bigger professional body, to be under a label that will make them more credible. I do think people feel that they need to be more trained, more professional. So, but for sure, it will have a loss of income on average, no doubt.
Wonderful. We are just 5 minutes off from the clock. And with that, I think I'd like to just one thing before handing it to Jayashree to give the vote of thanks. I just want to say I've pasted the link to the survey that the ICF Mumbai chapter has done in the chat box. Please click on this link. It takes less than 5 minutes to complete the survey. And let's do ourselves a favor by having this data for us. With that,
Priya?
Jayashree, yes.
Priya, just one little thing. It's not often that we get Catherine to, head of professional coaches to be with us in such a lovely interactive chat. So Catherine, just before you sort of sign off, is there a little message that you want to leave for all of us coaches in India?
be optimistic, stay connected, and give. My advice is give. More you give, more you receive. And I do think, especially in these times, maybe it's time to invest. Invest on yourself. You are the best tool for you. Invest on your health, because your health is very important. Your family, nurture your body, nurture your mind, your soul, and you'll be better coach. You'll be better human. And I love you, all of you.
I have one last question before we hand it to Jayashree. I think Badri also wants
Yeah,
to.
Priya, I have a question.
Badri, one second. One question in the chat. Let me just finish that. Would it be possible that even though coaches had more time, they did more pro bono work and hence did earn as much? Hence did not earn as much. This
Of
is
course.
from Radha Sant.
Of course, I'll encourage you to do that. I'm doing it myself, so I think it's the best thing you can do. And you can find, I'm sure, many pro bono engagement assignment in your chapters, in your communities, even in ICF Foundation Global if you want. So don't hesitate. Sure. Thank you for the question.
Badri, yeah. Badri
This was a wonderful presentation. Thank you so much, Kathy. My question is connected to question asked by Vijay. Like your advice to us, like what should be our focus area maybe before we do another study, maybe after 2-3 years or so. Like you have seen the data for India, so what would be your advice to us?
To you as chapter leaders.
Yeah, chapter leaders, and then everybody along, we will be doing something in that direction then.
Okay, so for chapter leader, I do think go ahead doing what you are doing. So staying connected, the all of you organizing common thing. I do think the solidarity is the first thing to activate in these times, in these tough times. And for coaches, that's my recommendation. I share with you is like take the advantage of this time to learn, to grow, to care, to take care of you, of other, and being optimistic, not missing any occasion to talk about coaching benefits, and professionalism. And you will grow yourself, you will grow your client then.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah.
With that, Jayashree, can you please take the mic, unmute yourself, and please deliver the vote of thanks, darling. Yeah.
I've already unmuted myself because I'm very conscious of the fact that I'm standing in between people and their
Dinner.
that leave meeting.
Yeah.
Thank you, charming Catherine. Thank you so much for being here with us. Very credible findings and presented in a very elegant way. I think learn, grow, care, take care of yourself and others. I think that's the message that we are carrying from here. I think this study and the results are going to be very helpful for us when we have our conversations with our clients, potential or otherwise. So it's a very, very important, I think, occasion for all of us. Thank you for taking out time for us. Thank you all my fellow presidents for giving this, I think, getting this rocking session, first collaborative session of this year together. Yay!
Catherine, one last question. Would we be able to share these slides with everybody within the chapter?
Sure. I always send to Vijay, and please share with everyone. I'm very pleased to do so.
I will do so.
And also the recording link, right? If we don't.
Yeah, and you'll send the recording link to me. I will be happy to share. Sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, and thanks, Aitam, for your continuous support.
Aitam, God bless. Thank you very much.
This would not have been possible without
Thank you, coaches. Thank you, coaches, for spending your evening together. Thanks.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.